Get out of here. There it is. Okay. Welcome, travelers. Today we are here for a very, very exciting episode. We are going to have us a super crazy dragon raid, and I'm hoping that I can bring the energy and the chaos that's coming into this episode. So we're going to do things very slightly differently today. As you can see, there is a map on the screen. Now, we have always had the map of our city, but it hasn't been too important until now. I have created tokens for the 3 characters that are going to be starring in today's episode. That would be Samantha, Brianna, and Crop. Zooming in right here, you can see that there is a sword on the map. The only reason there was a sword there is to show where our characters originally began, where the store was, where they had their little spat, and unfortunately Leo is spoilered from last episode. If you can also look on screen, you'll see that there are numbers. These are tokens representing the various factions that are in today's episode. The reason they are blank is because we don't want to reveal them yet. So I don't see them, I'm just holding them up awkwardly. I have in my hand 3 different note cards that I've written the name of the factions on. Off screen, I'm going to have them set aside in an order of 1 to 3, going from left to right. That is going to represent the numbers 1 through 3 on the screen. If we run into them, if any of the characters run into them, we will draw that card and flip it over to see who that is that's showing up to cause that trouble. So I'm shuffling it right now and then laying it down where you cannot see because I'm out of desk room. 1, 2, 3. This is not the time to be sending me messages and I don't know where my phone is. Huh. Well, hopefully no one's going to need me because that thing's going off. But without further hesitation, we are going to go ahead and get started. They hang high above, watching. The city beneath, some unpronounceable human name, no doubt filled with the weak, the greedy, the unnecessary. The man that watches has green skin. It borders on yellow, actually, a hint of it anyways. He dons golden armor but exposes most of his chest. A man walks up beside him. They're dressed similarly, but this one in silver. They stand from an airship that hovers over the city of Joenakisa. There's a bit of soot left on the deck. Scratch marks, gashes actually. They gorge the wood of this flying ship. A man. No. Men are weak. A Gith Yankee. A Gith stands beside him, behind him. His armor rustling, each step knocking as he approaches. Both men instantly turn, give a deep nod and a salute. They stand in front of a commander of the supreme variety. When do we drop in? The man in the silver armor asks the commander. This behemoth of a soldier, the commander, stands plated, covered. The only bit of his skin exposed are his hands for better control of his blade, and his head. The enemy needs some sort of chance against him. As soon as the triplets get us our location, we swoop in. But they still watch off the side of their ship beneath them as the dragon swoops back and forth. They're jealous of the knight that strides him, the knight who has to do nothing but let his beast take the burden. On the other side of the ship, the triplets, 3 women, same hair color, different tone of armor. One checks her golden bangle, makes sure the strap is tight. The other straightens out her vest, while the last is finished putting her abundant hair into a long brown ponytail. The order is given. Two of them do not hesitate as they lunge off the side of the ship. One waits for only a second, seeing them fly off. The youngest of the triplet that hasn't jumped. She adjusts her hair one last time, making sure the ponytail is as tight as can be. Closes her eyes, and then she jumps. The clouds part for her. It's a rush, one that she hasn't felt in a long time since her last trial, since her last excursion, since her last failure. The city no longer looks like a strange, distant claymation to her. The buildings gain textures, definite shape. The fire no longer an orange-red blur in the distance. She can see the definite edges of the plasma. And the figures that were once pebbles, blades of grass, grow limbs. They scream, they shriek, they shout. They become people. By the time the third triplet lands, the others are already moving. Why wait for her if she's as slow as a human? A man lays on his side. He's bleeding from out of the mouth. He's clinging to his chest, struggling to breathe. He's older, probably around 67, and he was proud for the life that he lived. So long as a soldier, and he managed to keep all of his limbs, managed to not take a single devastating wound. And he was once proud of all of the fingers that he had, and now he lays there on the ground, his hand outstretched. Two of the digits crushed. And the left hand twitches in front of him, and he spits out another piece of blood. How many innocents has he slaughtered as a soldier? Not a soldier, he finally admits to himself. A marauder. A highwayman. His only loyalty to the gold, silver, and bronze coins that allowed him to retire in a city that was supposed to be safe. Something catches his eye. It wasn't on the ground before. Or was it? No. You would have seen it. There's a fork floating off the ground in front of him, and it's shaking, uncertain in the air. And this dying man can swear that he sees some sort of aura coming off of it. A strange, cool blue that fills the air, battles with the smoke and the heat of the nearby flame, the building that he flew out of after the dragon landed on it. Beside him a table. It lifts off the ground with it, a table that he could never have picked up on his own, and yet it floats in the air, wobbling uncertain, until there's a definite burst. It's not thunder. It's more like a wash, a wave of cold energy that slaps him in the face. And his hand goes limp. As a boot lands beside it. Red coattails fall with it. From the distance, someone could confuse it for another person. But up close, the yellowed skin, the balding hair, the angular features, no one would mistake this Githzerai monk for a human. This is the city we're meant to invest in, he says. Another one, similarly dressed, though in deeper tones, walks up behind him. Don't sound so disappointed. You just figured by now they would learn. And then a cloaked woman, long purple, strolls up beside them. Do this as quick as possible. Do not interfere. These people are choosing their own path. The more we have with us, the more it slows us down. The fate's regrettable, but it is their fate, the one in the front says. She has one red sash, one black sash coming off the front of him. Doesn't matter. Have a little compassion. They would not have compassion for us. Samantha stumbles forward. She's holding her right arm. It's dislocated. She's placed it against her body as she moves and then collapses onto the well in front of her. She looks back. It's distant from her. A dragon waits on top of a building. It shouts out into the sky, looks in towards a building, and then shoots out a jet of flame. She reaches into the well, grabs a handful of water, and splashes her face with it. This isn't the time to lose it. This isn't the time to be uncertain. People are shouting, screaming all around her, crying for help. She looks up ahead as a woman dashes in front of her, collapses against the well as a man pushes her to get out of the way. Move, bitch! He shouts as she runs. Help! Help me! Samantha says, looking to the woman, who peels herself off the well, looks to her. They make eye contact, and then she looks up to the dragon in the distance and runs after the man. No! Fuck! All around her, people are dashing back and forth, and Samantha's right arm hangs limp. No one is stopping to help her. But will they? This is an unlikely roll moving towards the oracle. Here it comes. No one is fucking stopping for her. Another person runs by, perhaps a mom and her son, and they don't stop. The kid stumbles because the kids always stumble, and the mom picks her up, puts her against her chest, and runs. Fuck, calm down, Sam. Come on, you're an arbiter for Oriel's sake. Okay, you're an arbiter. You're an arbiter. I'm gonna make this an intelligence check. It's going to be disadvantaged against a 15. Will she remember how to fix her injured wound? Actually, no, this won't be an intelligence check. Samantha did have some healing training. We're going to make this a medicine check. It's a 3. So disadvantage against a 12. Here comes the roll. The lowest is a 1. No, she's not going to think about the training on how to fix herself in the middle of this drama, in the middle of this apocalypse. I gotta move. Get up, Sam, she tells herself. And then with the final cry to the night, the dragon lifts up into the air. Samantha watches for a brief moment. Embers fly across her face from a building to the right. She looks to it and covers her eyes as the smoke from the crumbling debris flies her way. She turns and moves forward, trying to get away from the debris, trying to get as far away, but she's stuck in the intersection. To the right. To the right. What looks to be the exit of the city. Just a few blocks till grim salvation. To the left, deeper in, some sort of river. She doesn't know where Crop or Brianna ran. But she has to find them. She can't go right. The Githyanki went right. She knows that. So instead, still gripping her arm, keeping a lookout for the dragon, Samantha moves to her left. Brianna finds herself in her own portion of the town, rushing her way. Are there any other guards here? Is she going to be alone? So, rolling for this is going to be a neutral roll. Are there other guards in the area? 2. No, there are no guards because we're not going to roll for anything crazy today. It is just Brianna. Does somebody approach her because she is a guard? They see most of the uniform minus the chainmail. I will make that likely. Here comes the roll. Yes, but. The yes, but is... When they approach her, it's only to ask for directions. They don't recognize that she's a fully guard. They just see the armor. They think she's a mercenary of some sort. So this person runs up to her. We'll say it's just a woman who comes bursting out of the building. What is it? What's going on? She shouts to Brianna, looking to the first person she sees as 2 others come dashing by. An overweight shopkeeper who overhears and stops and looks to her. It's a dragon, he says. A dragon's burning down the city. We have to get going then, Brianna. Brianna doesn't answer. Instead, as the 2 rush off, perhaps heading towards where they think safety is. Are they heading towards a guard station? That's probably likely, right? No, but they're heading towards shelter. The city has designated shelters, and when Brianna sees this, still in her stint of running from what she thought was supposed to just be an illithid to holy shit, there's a damn dragon, she follows the 2 civilians. Rushes with them, charges throughout the city. Is the dragon approaching their area? Looking to the map, it is closest to them, so we will make this a likely check. Here comes the 2 rolls, and here it is. Yes, it's coming their direction. And it's going to strike out it's going to land in a building beside them to place them in extra danger. As they're charging, the dragon lands in front of them. The entire ground shakes as it lands. I'm not even going to say a building. I'm going to have it land in the street beside them because that's more interesting. And when it lands, it shouts out. But it's not landing for them. No, of course it's not landing for them. It's landing for this horse that is stuck, tied to the building. It's trying to pull itself away, but it's still tethered in. The 3 of them stop, looking at the dragon in front of them. Does the knight on its back dismount when it sees them? No, better question. The amulet, does it have a residual effect? If you're near it, does it kind of taint out? Think of like splashing and you're still sort of wet. I'm going to leave that positive because maybe that's the whole reason it was able to track them to this general location. Here comes the roll. Yes, it is. And the knight was aware of that sort of area. It picked up on her first. That's why it came into this direction. And they stop. As the dragon looks towards the horse, it's trying to pull itself away. Already need a snack, the knight on its back says. You said I can take what I want. Dragons talk? Brianna asks. She thinks. I'm not going to say she asks. And the knight dismounts. His golden armor gleams in the flames nearby. He heads directly towards Brianna as the dragon begins to munch and chew away at the horse, ripping it apart, grabbing the interior, and then gorging itself. You The Githyanki Knight approaches. The two take off and run, leaving her alone. Brianna looks towards freedom, towards her only way out. Can she escape as this thing approaches? This thing being the Githyanki Knight. The Githyanki Knight has a speed of +2. Brianna has a card, so I will bring that up. Brianna's speed is a +1. Here comes the Githyanki Knight first. The Githyanki rolls a 10. Here comes Brianna's attempt of escaping at 1. Brianna is going to be able to outpace the knight. Samoa asks, do Githyanki know about the illithid yet? They came for the amulets. I am going to believe or assume that they are not aware of the Githyanki yet, of the illithids yet, because yes, you are correct. They did come up for the amulets, and I think if they knew about the illithids, they would have been here sooner, because they were only coming when they got pings of the amulet, right? So I think that they wouldn't be aware of the illithid yet. No. She turns and runs. Stop her, damn it! The dragon glances up, spits out the intestines that it was eating, and jumps up into the air. It lands in front of Brianna, again shaking the ground, and Brianna backs away as the red dragon looms in front of her. Where do you think you're going? And Brianna backs up into the night. She turns and faces the golden behemoth in front of her as the dragon inches closer. And when she pulls back the sword, the dragon grabs her by the back. One strong hand lifts the woman up. I will lay it across bridal style to represent the carry. The amulet. And Brianna's kicking, trying to get free. The dragon lowers its head beside her. Why are you fighting? Do you think my grip would loosen? The amulet, the knight asks, his brown hair clinging to his back, the silver sword at his side. His left hand waits on top of it, waits at the hilt. It's twitching. There's an anticipation to drawing it. Part of her wants him to fight. Part of him wants her to fight. Wants her to not say a word. Wants to beat it out of her. Give me the amulet. Amulet. I don't have the amulet. You don't have the amulet. No, I don't have the amulet. Who does? An arbiter. An arbiter has it. Her name is Samantha. Put her down. The woman drops. And the Githyanki, the knight, places a hand on the back of her armor, on the back of her hair, actually, and lifts her head up to face him. A single tear falls down, and the left hand, trembling with the anticipation of a fight, wipes it away. Why are you crying? I haven't even hurt you yet. Where is Samantha, then? This arbiter. I left her in a shop back there. In a shop? Show us. Show us. Is there intervention? Are they stopped by somebody? Or not stopped. Are they attacked by somebody is the better answer. This is going to be a... I'd leave it neutral. I want to say disadvantage because this is a dragon attack. People are scared. But advantage because there are always guards or heroes trying to make their name. So here comes the neutral roll. Is somebody going to try to intervene? Yes. And I just realized now that the intervention isn't popping up on screen. Okay, now it's up. Cool. But I'm pretty sure that's our third intervention. So let's go ahead and jump over to the intervention table before we keep going. You were able to see it, huh? I couldn't, but all right, I'm glad it's there. So jumping to the intervention table. Let's see what pops up. Here comes the roll. Now the dice don't want to roll. Technical issue night. Here it comes. 4. Advance the plot. Okay. I'm going to advance the plot and say that all of the figures on the map, all of the numbers are going to move forward by 1 space towards Samantha since they're all seeking her. For the mechanic, after all 3 of our main characters get a turn, they all advanced 1, but I'm going to advance that now. So they essentially get 2 movements. So this number 2 moves 1 closer. Number 1 moves 1 closer, and I'll have number 3 go diagonal 1 closer. But yes, they are attacked. Okay. Is it by... The easy one. Is it by guards? Oh, yes, and you are correct. It was. You're right. Good call. Yes, they are attacked, and they have a mage with them. We'll get a little bit of magic in there to give them that chance to fight, or that chance to have like that extra strike back. So, yes, it was. They have a mage with them, but now I'll ask the question: is it by guards? No. So then this is just a band of adventurers. I'm going to say a band of people who think they can strike out. How many of them? It's going to be D4 plus 1 because of the mage. So D4. 4. 4 people are showing up. I'm just going to be grabbing random minis off of the table to place up on there. I don't want to have too many bowmen. No, I said random minis. So I'm just going to grab the first things I see coming up, and then one of them is going to be a mage because there's the plus 1 for the mage. We will use this one to represent the mage. That's the wrong figure. We will replace... There she is. Damn. But you couldn't see it this entire time. Did I not place 5? Yeah, there are 5 on the table. You just couldn't see me placing them. I just misspoke. Sorry. Yes, keep track of me today. I'm like, I came in here energized to do like a massive scene. I'm either going to misspeak or forget stuff. So great job. Keep calling me on it. All right. Before we continue on with the scene, I'm going to move this building so it's not in the way as they approach. I'll move it down here so we still have it in the scene. Do they know what the Githyanki are? I'm going to leave it neutral because there are 5 people here. Here comes the roll. No, none of these people apparently know what Githyanki are. Are they new? Are they new at this? Here comes the roll. Yes, but not all of them are new. We'll say that the... We'll roll a d6. And if it's a 6, we will say that... We will just do a reroll on a 6. Let's not get too complicated. Up, down, left, right. 1, 2... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here comes the roll. 1. So it is the archer that's experienced. So our new heroes move forward, getting closer on this. Are any of them starting to get second thoughts about attacking this dragon? No, and all of them already. All of them think they can handle it. Those poor misguided fools. Hey, asshole. The dwarf in the front says. Perhaps he thinks he's just a freakishly tall man. And the knight turns around to face them. Me. You know, little man, you talk big for somebody facing down a dragon. Do you actually think you can win? Genuine question here. The 5 of you, all of you fools. Why don't you come and try us? The archers begin to spread apart, giving them different targets, as the 2 that look like mages fall back to let the dwarf in the front lead. Cute, the knight says. Adorable, actually. Tell me, what is an arrow going to do against fire? Well, when you put it that way, why are you dumbasses not firing? The archer shouts out, or the dwarf in the front shouts out. Hearing that, hearing their cue and realizing, oh shit, we're supposed to be firing, they do. I'm gonna have both of the archers just kind of strike out right now. Their short bow is going to be a +6. Both of them have a +6. The dragon has a armor class of 18. So, you know, they have a pretty decent shot at hitting this. So here comes the roll. First one, D20. We are moving for the furthest one against the building right there. Here comes the roll. Against an 18. No, he doesn't hit it. What about the other one? No, neither of them are able to strike it. In fact, I'm going to say they hit their target. As the arrow flies out, it just bounces off of the dragon's skin as it rises up on its hind legs. Dimitri? Dimitri? And it shouts back at them. Two of them slowly backing away until he bumps into the mage from behind and starts casting a spell. And as the blue light, this one will say red, as the red light begins to emanate from his hand, the dragon is going to strike out. It is going to use fire breath. The dragon exhales fire in a 30-foot cone. Each creature in that area must make a DC savings throw of 17, taking 5, 56, or 16d6 fire damage on a failed save, or half as much on a full save. I'm going to say that, quite obviously, these guys, this one's smart enough to drag her out of the way. If they've worked together, they're not stupid enough to hit each other. But let's take a look at the 30-foot cone. One. That's funny, because they spread out, and it's still going to hit them. About there, it looks like. Should have gone a little bit further. Just a little bit. Not a lot. So, I guess we're going to roll for both of the archers. This is a dexterity savings throw of 14. 4, not 14, Jesus Christ. +4 against the 20. Are they going to be able to avoid this? No, and it's not a 20, it's a 17. The one up ahead is not able to avoid it. He's going to get hit. The one, the lower, can he avoid it? Same roll. 19. So he's going to get away. He's going to get a bit of it, but it's not going to be enough to damage him. Those are the furthest two at the edge of the cone. It's going to torch the what remains of the horse for a snack for later, and then it's going to nail the homeboy dwarf, the supposed leader of this. The dwarf is going to have, let's bring up the stats for him in just a moment. We will give him the bandit card for now. He has a dexterity of +1. Here comes the roll, probably not getting out of the way. 5, no. This dude is definitely getting fucking nailed. So, the dragon rears up on its back. Or on its hind legs. It takes a deep breath, and as it does, they feel the air retreat. Fire! Fire! The experienced man shouts. As the fire comes out, with the nice howling roar. It catches the dwarf. He gets nailed for that 56 damage. With the HP of 11, he is reduced to cinders. The other one, and in fact, all three of them are going to be reduced. Because they don't have... Oh no, that guy has health. That guy has good health. He's still alive. Both of the archers are going to be alive. But the bandit in front of them is dead from 11 health. Though the archer, this man right here, is quick enough to react, he jumps and the flames careen off the wall and onto his side. He feels the searing heat, feels his sleeve get burned away, the hair on the side of his head burn loose and his skin blacken. The one in front catches the full force of it. When the fire engulfs him, he drops his bow, and even before the bow hits the ground, it's reduced to cinders. He collapses, hits the wall, and then falls to his back screaming as the ally to the right tries to tend to him, tries to do what she can. She, conjure, make water above him, causing the water to just come out of the air. It's a slow process because of the heat in the area. And the dwarf in front paces back and forth for a bit, his knife melting in his hand, so he drops to his knees and then collapses forward in a flaming heap. Brianna watches the horror of this as the man is doused out from the flame from the water above him, the other taking those 3rd degree, 9th degree burns because that was pretty intense, and the magic that was being cast in the woman in front with the red stops. The aura fails, and she looks at the beast. Do you wish to continue this pointless struggle? Do they? I think it's unlikely considering what just happened to them. Here comes the roll. It's negative, if that's what I was saying, unlikely. No, they don't. They don't say a word. The man that was burned lays against the ground. When he pulls his hand off of it, he sees a bit of his flesh lay behind. Witness the might of the Githyanki, the knight tells Brianna as he ushered her to the dragon. And don't lose your lunch, human. The lot of you sicken me. The dragon, satisfied with his victory, roars out. The two climb onto his back and lift into the air. I got him out, but the burns are really bad. The green-haired mage says, I don't know if he should come with us. It probably shouldn't. Come with us? The brown-haired mage says, you're talking about going after it still? This thing is going to destroy the city if we don't do anything. Do anything! What are you going to do? You have half of a goddamn face! Your skin is literally melting off! He reaches into his pouch. Does he have a healing salve, specifically against burns? I feel like he would because he's trained against this. Here comes the roll. That's the wrong dice. Here comes the roll. I like how that one's laying on its side. No, he doesn't have a flame retardant salve, but he does have a healing salve. And he pulls it out, struggles to undo the lid because his fingers burn, and he pulls his hand away and then holds it out to the mage, who takes it from him and begins to take it out to remove the top. Here, and she places it back in his hand. We should focus on saving civilians, the green-haired mage says from the ground. Get him to a safe house, and then take all the people we can. Is the burned leader going to want to go after the dragon still? Is it a vendetta to him, actually? No. Despite the anger and the sorrow inside of him, he knows when he's beat. Fine. We'll get him to safety, get you to a healer, and then we're going back out. We're not going after the dragon. We are saving people. So we will. You are absolutely correct. The dwarf was the leader. Unstated is that I was going to have this man try and take control. The cries and the screams of the world above are cut out, muffled by a closing door. It's pitch black in here for a moment, but he can hear somebody rustling and shuffling around until There's a brief flick, and light comes to the world. Lay on the bed. Just get on the bed. And Crop is thrown onto the side. His arm, though tourniqueted, isn't enough. He can still feel the stabbing pain. And the once helpful and proud commander, afraid. The fireplace that was kicked to life. A dagger is being held out to it by Frerick. It's pulled back. And he moves over to the cabinet with the heated dagger. Slides it open. Where are we? Crop asks him. It's a hideaway, Frerick says. He moves open the shelf, reaches in, and pulls out a small, we'll say it's not a bandage. He pulls out another small salve, and then moves over to his side. This is going to hurt. Why do you have a dagger, a burning dagger? It'll cool in a moment. The salve that I have is activated by the heat of this. Place it to your side and it'll numb the pain. Will it hurt? It will. He grabs the commander's arm, undoes the tourniquet. Hold your breath. And then sets the knife against the wound. The captain groans out, gritting his teeth as the searing turns to calm. Takes away the sting, doesn't it? We have 2 questions in chat. Megbu asks, can they be related? Why don't you roll a d6 for that, and we'll find out. Are we going to find out what the cult leader was trying to do, allying with the brain? Well, I believe so. Would you like us to roll that as well? At least for this scene, to see if he'd be willing to say it in this scene. With a 3, they are not related, Megbu, but what would the but be for that? Yes, roll neutral is coming from Samoa. I don't have to say it anymore. People can now see it on screen. Rolling neutral. Here comes the roll. Is Frerick going to reveal what had happened, why they were... Is Frerick going to reveal why they allied with the Elder Brain and the Illithids in this scene? Neutral roll, here it comes. No, he's not going to fully reveal it. But, and I'll leave the but to you, Samoa, unless you leave it to me, as we carry on with the scene. Frederick was an ex-guard. Real quick, I'm going to ask 2 dice, because I think it's likely. Was Frerick not his real name? No. No, Frerick is not his real name. Frerick. And Frerick looks down at him. Of all the names in the world, you go with something fucking ridiculous. Did they get along when Frerick and the captain were guards together? No, but they didn't hate each other. They just weren't on friendly terms. Were they guards together? And by that I mean, was he a guard when Crop was just the guard before he became a captain? Here comes the roll. No, he was not. So he worked under Crop. And Samoa says but he thinks he has a good justification reason for doing it. So no, he's not going to reveal the information now, but he thinks he has a justified reason for it. Clarifying that it wasn't just greed, or it wasn't just a greed or lust for power. You used to be a good man, Eric. I'm still a good man. I would have left you there if I wasn't. You only brought me along because I pointed out what was going to happen to you. You never could see it from another angle, Rarick says. He takes a fire poker and starts poking at the fire. It's probably why they made you captain. They made me captain because I held to our duties. Your duties. They were your duties. Maybe if you stopped slacking. If all you're going to do is insult me, then I should leave you here. Do you even know where we could go? He turns back to the fire with the poker. Not particularly. All the elder brain has to do is come across, probe, use different means of communicating with us, seek out our mind. You had him in the Shadowfell? Was the Shadowfell Freric's idea? Neutral? No. Wasn't my idea. I wanted to leave him be. Whose idea was it then? Was it the Shadowfell's queen? Yes! Would you believe me if I told you? Cut the shit. Crop sits up. You go on guard duty, walk out. Years later, I see you working for the Illithids. Not the Illithids. With the Illithids. With them. Is that why you cowered on your feet? Crop says. At least I'm capable of standing on my feet. I was gonna roll it, but Crop does have that numbing effect in him from the salve, so he stands up, looks to his missing arm, and then to the cultist in front of him. You know, not the type to give up. Placing the poker back on top of the fireplace, Rarick looks back to him. You would know that I'm not either. Why did you do it, Eric? Does it matter? The city burns. And I want to know why, Crop says. Wanting to know and getting to know isn't the same. You sicken me. We never did see eye to eye. You. They said you had a way of stopping them, of draining the elder brain. That plan's probably long gone by now, Rarick says. He returns the salve to the table. If the elder brain is capable of reading our minds, then we couldn't do it. Samantha says you couldn't do it anyways. Samantha. She has no idea what's coming. Does he say something about the Minotaur, actually? Leave that neutral. Yes, he does. Samantha. That girl has no idea what's coming for her. What is coming for her? We tapped into ritual magic. We created a minotaur to chase after her. What the hell, Eric? That's an abomination. What would Lathander think of you? Do I look like the type of person that cares what Lathander thinks? She's hunted now as we speak. You're fucked up. No. Fucked up is the state of the city. It doesn't have to stay fucked up. We will figure it out from there. Figure it out? You're not going to be able to save everything. All you're going to save is a bunch of ash. We figure it out now, not from there. Then what do you suggest, Captain? You have something going after Samantha. We find her. We're not going to be able to interfere. She has your fucking amulet, right? What? No, the illithid went after her. She's a resourceful little scamp. I doubt she's dead. We go after we find her, we get that amulet back. That is our best chance to stop these fucking things. You know they're going to come after you. And whatever you're trying to do is going to fail unless we have that amulet. Very well. You know, once the beast is unleashed, there is no fighting it. There is no stopping it. I'm sorry, not fighting it. There is no stopping it. We kill him. If we can. We do. Then we need to go and get her. Best place to check is the street that we left her in. There's elements behind you. Take what you need. If you can. Yeah. Do I have to be afraid of you stabbing me with any of those daggers? No. What kind of coward do you mistake me for? To stab a man when his back is turned? Same one that would leave the guard. Armin himself. The two leave. Addressing two of the things that came up in chat. If I am incorrect, there should be 3 amulets, if I'm remembering this correctly. I don't remember the 4th one. Leo's mentor escaped with his, plus 1 more. Okay, so in taking it from where it is, this still plays out. The way it is that we were moving right now still plays out. However, Ymir would have a second one in the realm because that is correct. We know that for a fact because in the background when Ymir left, when he cut himself free, he was heading to get the Minotaur out. He never went to that pit stop. The reason he went there is he went to that place, he told them, and that's why the Illithid and Freric went to the safe house. That's why they showed up there. So if Ymir did have the second one, he did not bring it with him to that encampment or to the safe house. He never went to the safe house. So then Ymir has 2 within the Shadowfell. That breaks an interesting question. Would he give it to the Minotaur? And my thought process with that is that if he's sending it out to strike, he doesn't want them to find it, the Illithids to know that it's there, And maybe they could use the Minotaur as an ace in the hole kind of thing. A behemoth of a creature that they can't really fight back if they can't get through its mind. I'm gonna roll that neutral. Yes. Yes, the Minotaur has one. But he doesn't. We'll roll. Does the Minotaur knows what it is? No, the Minotaur doesn't know what it is, and is incapable of learning it. Not incapable of learning it. That shuts us out from the story. He doesn't know what it is, and he's not gonna be aware of it. If the thing falls off of him in the middle of combat, he's not going to try to retrieve it. He's just going to see it as something they placed on him. So there's a bit of a wild card in that being on him. The Minotaur is still like a sentient thing and not just a beast. You can actually like play as one, and they have all these abilities. So no, like they'll still be able to read his mind. Good call on bringing out that fourth amulet. It's good to know, keep track of it, because we're gonna need to be aware of those things. It might actually include them. With that clarification taken, I'm going to remove Bree from the area, place her off stage, because it's this thing. The dragon, she's traveling with the dragon. I'm gonna jump her there because the dragon can fucking fly. They are each going to move one step closer. Oh, that's 3. That 3 is close. That 3 is very close. Okay. Okay, if the 3 is close, we can actually use it. Card 3 has been drawn. Since it's so close, we're going to see if this thing is capable of tracking Samantha. It is the Githzerai that get close to her. And they are definitely going to have a method of finding the amulet. Has Samantha found shelter? I want to ask that before we go forward. Here comes the roll. No, she hasn't found shelter, and she collapses in the middle of a park from the exhaustion of running, losing her breath. And she moves forward and falls onto the bench. Do the Githzerai track her through the amulet? Here comes the roll. I see a 6. Yes, they track her, and they have the drop on her. They approach from behind. Is this going to be a hostile confrontation? No. It's not hostile. Are they going to pump her for information then? And I think it's likely if it's not hostile. So here comes the roll. 5. Yes. Yes, they are. 3 approach from behind. You're wearing an amulet, the woman in the center says. And Samantha turns around to face them. She recognizes. She knows who they are, what they are. Not precisely, though. She's aware of the war. Oh, great. Samantha turns over and sits on the bench. Are you Githyanki or Zerai? We are Githzerai, the one to the right says, in the black, as he steps forward. I believe you have an amulet that belongs to the people. To our people. No point in lying to you, is there? It would not be in your best interest. Right? Samantha grabs the amulet and pulls it off of her. Where did you acquire this amulet? You're here just for that? Answer the question. She tosses the amulet with her left hand. Her dexterity's off. She just kind of offhand throws it. And the Githzerai monk to the right reaches out with a snapping catch. And brings it back to him. This is one of them. There's more. How did you get them? I stole it from an illithid. The one in the center moves closer. An illithid. Where is it? It ran when it saw your dragon. That is not our dragon. The Githyanki operate in this area as well. And I guess I'm lucky to have found you. Are they going to heal her? Neutral roll. Yes, and there's the intervention. Give me your hand, the one in the red coattail says. The other one. He grabs it, lifts it out, feels the pop, and then jerks down. You need to be careful with that. Multiple fractures in your body will... I know. Not my first time. Very well. But I believe you have an intervention you need to take care of. Yeah, probably. Here's the intervention. 3. Entity negative. Oh man, there's a lot of ways we can take the entity negative. With 3 different consecutive plots going on at once. Crop, Brianna, Sam, the Minotaur coming closer. Do we want to give... Well, do we want to make this a positive effect for Samantha or a negative effect for Samantha? And by that I mean the negative effect can hit anything. So when I ask the negative or positive effect for Samantha, it's like if we give a negative effect to like the Minotaur, it's technically his negative effect. Say like the Minotaur gets not lost, but restrained for a bit. It's a negative effect for him, but like that's a positive thing for Samantha if we want to do that. It's literally any entity in the game that we just give a negative effect. I like to hit the good guys because it's just interesting to screw them over, I'm not gonna lie. But let's do it. Let's hit the bad guys for once. But which bad guys do we want to hit? So we have a selection to go for, because there is more than one technically bad guy at the portion. We'll use the word antagonist, I guess. We have the Minotaur, obviously, the Githyanki, who are not on our side, the Dragon, who is still technically with the Githyanki, but still, you know, I'm calling them apart because they're moving in different groups. But there's also the Illithids and the Elder Brain. You want to hit the Dragon? All right, let's hit the Dragon. Not too hard. How does that group, the adventurers, the one that I said was burned and they left, the one that wanted to come back for vengeance, how does damaging the dragon's wings by them, like they do something to damage the dragon's wings so that it cannot fly? Does that sound too hard? Clear. No, but it should be fixable. Okay, yeah, that's a good idea. A momentary damage. It'll keep it down for a bit. We don't want to use full rotations. Just enough to hinder him. Where is the Illithid? The one in the black asks. Illithids. I think there's more than one. There's a cult involved. Oh, and you're gonna love this part. There's a goddamn elder brain here. At that, the three of them become dead serious in front of her. Where is the elder brain? It's in the Shadowfell. You three know how to get there? No. Actually, no, let's not dictate. Don't fucking dictate me. Do they have the ability to get into the Shadowfell? I want to say yes because these motherfuckers like manipulate chaos and can do all this stuff. But if it's a no, maybe the fucking, I want to keep calling her the Raven Queen. Maybe the Queen of the Shadowfell has an ability to stop that. So we're going to leave it neutral. Entity negative. No, I'm kidding. No, they don't know how to get there, but Samantha will tell them how. We don't have a way currently. I might know a way for you to get there. And how's that? The cult they're working with. They have a means of getting back and forth. We get them, that's our way through. You say we like we're planning to take you. This mission is Githzerai only. Well, you can go around and ask for the cult, that would be fine, but you don't know who they are. And I have names, and I have places, and I mean, I did kind of fight an illithid and live. I'm going to make that a persuasion check. Who has the higher one between them? The Zerth has the higher one. So we will give that to her. She has a +1. Samantha is pretty good at persuasion, though, with a persuasion of 4. So here's the one from the Githzerai, if their leader is going to be willing to listen. Jesus, that is plot armor. She has a total of 5. With a 4, Samantha cannot fail this roll. I mean, if she rolls a 1, yes, she fails, but through the numbers would not let her. Yeah, she's not failing. Plus, you're going to need a guide. If I remember correctly, you guys don't like it here. Does feel a bit hard to wobble. It would be better for us to take her with us. You speak out of turn. I speak with what the enlightened elders would want us to speak. Wisdom. You don't need to lecture me. I was going to say yes anyways. Welcome to the team. Glad to be here. Thanks for helping me with that arm, by the way. It was, not pleasant. We know there is more than one amulet. We need that as well. The illithids have another, Samantha says. And then... Oh. Dipshit Amir took it. Amir? One of the cultists. You're looking for a guy named Amir and Frerick. I know where one of their stashes is. And maybe there's a clue there. Something we can find. Lead the way. Yeah. Gladly. Yes, you're right. We do know. I had forgotten about that, but no, we had established you are correct. We can use, or they can use it as a weapon in their hands. And I think we also said it boosts their abilities, their psionic abilities, if I remember that correctly. Have any of you actually fought an illithid before? Samantha says as she follows. I'm going to leave that neutral. No. No. We're scouting to find the amulets. They sent a small battalion of us to locate it. We didn't expect to run into something like this. We can handle Githyanki like nothing. But we are going to need to go back and get the priest, the enlightened, Herm, to do it. Herm. Right, I'm Samantha, by the way. Arbiter Songbringer. Do they know what an arbiter is? Yes, but it doesn't impress them. An arbiter. With a wounded soldier, with a wounded shoulder. Blood. Ash. Soot. No offense, Arbiter, the dual-toned sash says, but it looks like you've seen quite the night. It's been a mess. Frankly, I have no idea how I've made it this far. There's one more thing you all should know about. And what's that? They stop at the edge of the park. Do you know what a black shuck is? No. Do you know what a hellhound is? We do. I think it's something similar, just with weird phasing abilities. It can drag you to the Shadowfell. But I think it takes you to the Elder Brain. And how do we go about summoning a black shuck? Daggers, Samantha says. That's not how the cult is getting back and forth, though. They have another way. But I know we've sent a cultist there. And he was able to come back. Where is this cultist? He was behind with a friend of mine. If he's still there, he might be able to get us into the Shadowfell. Safer way. Indeed. I have a mission for the two of you. Anything. What is it? The Enlightened needs to know. Along with your brothers and sisters that have come with us. I will head back to the fortress. I will take this. She holds up the amulet with me. We do not want it falling back into the hands of the Githyanki, we do not want it falling back into the hands of the Illithids. And should the Githyanki find it, we don't want to risk a fight with them. If there is a dragon operating in the field, then we know that a knight is astride of it. There is likely one of their airships nearby, meaning they also have reinforcements waiting. We don't want to chance the three of us running into them. I will take this back. I will call the Enlightened. We will return. Where should we meet you if something goes wrong? To the fortress. We can meet there by daybreak. And if you get them? Is she actually just going to tell them to... Why'd I roll? I meant to clear it. Is she actually going to tell them that after they check for the cultists to retreat? No. But... she's not going to outright say it's retreat, but... where we landed. We don't need you accidentally leading them back to the fortress or revealing it to this human. Name's Samantha. When we landed outside of town, we will meet there. Set up an encampment. We will return for you. Be discreet. Do not confront the dragon or the Githyanki. Are you saying you don't believe in our abilities? The two-toned monk says. It's not that I do not believe. We are outnumbered, Greth. Do not risk yourself. As you wish. I bid you both good luck. She turns and begins to head out. Can't you guys, mentally teleport or something? This close to the Githyanki, we do not want to risk drawing their attention. What you don't know is that those with the amulets can be tracked. That's how we were able to ping them. We've sent multiple. We followed them here, and we have found you. Yeah, I guess I'm, kind of lucky for that, aren't I? Indeed. I am Dak. This is Greth. Wonderful. It's a pleasure to meet you, but there's a town burning behind you. That is of no consequence. Well, maybe to you. But I've kind of grown to like these people. I'm sure you have. Come, Arbiter Samantha. My Arbiter name is Songbringer. We must get there quickly. Can the Gith conceal the amulets from each other? That's a really interesting question. Do you think that is, neutral? Likely, unlikely. Neutral. Can the Gith hide the amulets from each other? Yes, but my suggestion for the but is that, not for long, like it can be broken through. However, that is your question. I will let you answer it. That would make sense. That's why they would hand it to the Zerth. Oh, the higher ones. Okay. That would also be why she would take it to the Enlightened then. Yeah, that's a good idea. The camera shakes, of course, as the dragon lands beside the building. Brianna stumbles off of it, falling to her knees, as the knight walks up to the door. In there. That's the last I saw them, I swear. For your sake, let's hope they're still there. Believe me, I want to know. I will wait outside to give warning if something comes through. You do that, just to give us a howl. And the dogs fall silent. Yeah, like that. They left the door open. Are there traces of illithid ooze in there? I think that's likely. Because if Samantha stabbed it and then it used the shock dagger, I think that's likely. I also said that it was like leaving ooze on people's face. Should we roll that towards likely then? Or neutral? Because the Githyanki would definitely recognize it. You were absolutely right. Especially a knight. This guy would be on point for that. Here comes the two rolls. Rolling towards likely. Here it is. No. No, there is no ooze here. But... The closest thing, I think, illithid blood. Because she stabbed it, right? There should be some sort of illithid blood there. And I think he would recognize that. We will use purple right here, but you can't see it right there for the blood. Are you coming? She pauses at the door when she sees Leo's cleaved head. I knew him. Are you coming? Damn it, Leo. Don't regret his death. I regret a lot of things. Can't stand the sound. Heard my fair share of screams today. Funny. I haven't heard enough. He stops when he spots the purple blood. He turns around, rushes to the corner where Brianna is standing, grabs her by her throat, and forces her against the wall. The blood. What about it? Where did it come from? His goddamn head, can't you see that? Turning around, letting go of her throat, he grabs the back of her head and forces her towards the purple blood on the ground. That blood! What? The blood on the ground! He forces her lower to it, almost pushing her like halfway down. A mind flayer! He pushes her to the point where she stumbles onto the bed and then looks up at him from the side. Mind flayer. You've said nothing of a mind flayer. I didn't know it was important. Important. Yet you grieve for a cleaved body. Poor misguided human. There is nothing more important than this. The nature of this has changed. We are not just searching for an amulet. Samantha. He turns and approaches her, straightening his back, standing high above her, holding the two-handed silver sword that he's now drawn and holding it on his side. Is that what the illithid calls itself? No. Samantha is a girl like me. Is she working with the illithids? No. He was. He turns the sword over and stabs into the body. Pathetic. If only I could kill you twice. He rips out, spilling a bit of Leo on the ground. Your friend worked with them. He was betraying them. And... weak. Where are you going? So put out the call. With illithids here. We need everyone on deck. He pushes the door open, bringing back the building, the fire from outside. Path! He screams from the door. What is it? There is an illithid here. The dragon smiles. No longer just a job. No, it's not. The Githyanki smiles. Brianna looks towards the other door. Is she going to try to escape? Here comes the D6. Yes, she is. This is going to be a stealth check versus a perception check. There is a 2 on this perception. Passive perception, which is a 12. We'll just go with that. Now, let's look at her stealth. 1. She needs to beat a 12 to passively escape. I'm not going to give it any bonuses or buffs. He's excited about this, but he is a knight, so he's not distracted. Here comes the roll. Oh, with an 18. She begins moving to the left. Quietly, backing away. Sees a sword on the ground. Picks it up just in case. Moves towards the door. Grabs a hold of it. I want to ask, now correct me if I'm wrong. I don't believe it was addressed in the last episode because I listened back to it and I don't remember hearing it. We never stated exactly what happened to the dagger that summoned the illithid. there may be a chance that it's still here. If it was never addressed, I think it may still be here. So, I want to ask that when he summoned the Illithid, when he went through all the trouble of being attacked in this room, he being Freric, was the Illithid summoning dagger left behind? I'm going to leave it neutral. Here comes the roll. It was almost a yes and, but it's a 5. Yes, it is there. Does she see it? Perception check. She has a 0. I'm going to make it a 16. Here comes the roll. No, she doesn't see it. Instead, she gets to the door, pushes it open, and starts making her way out. I'm going to give the dragon a check to see if it spots her. The dragon has a 0, apparently. Holy shit, really? Yeah, wow. You're not very perceptive, dragon. Here comes the roll first for the dragon. For a 5. She's probably going to beat that. She has a dexterity of 1. No. Oh, damn. You should have had that. You dumb bitch. Oh, that's awesome. We'll get back up to the ship. Drag the girl along with us. And... what are you? And where do you think you're going? Nowhere. I wasn't going anywhere. You're right about that. You actually think you can run? I have a flying beast. You cannot outrun the Githyanki. What the fuck is a Githyanki? You're superior in all points, he says. Is this being seen by Samantha and her group? I'm going to leave that towards unlikely. So here comes the roll. My reasoning, I can't see the dice. My reasoning for unlikely is simply because chronologically they're still probably in the park. And it's a no but. They see the dragon flying off. And it might be time for you to see the true might of it. What of the sisters, the triplets? We'll stop and tell them on the way. And the dragon drops on all fours and lowers its back. Come, child. You have such great things to tell me. So we're going back to Crop and the other, Rarick. What I want to know, it's an obvious thing. Like, it's so fucking obvious. They're gonna see the red dragon flying off. But what I want to know is, do they notice that it has Brianna? I'm gonna make that neutral. I want to say likely because they would be looking at seeing who's going to the dragon, but I'm also gonna say unlikely because they're focusing on the fucking dragon. They might not even just notice there's a person, just tunnel vision on that dragon. Here comes the roll, neutral. No. They don't notice it's Brianna, but they see 2 people. It's clear. They probably got what they were looking for. I didn't... You think that was Samantha? Just move. And the 2 of them rush in. He grabs the door. Closes it slowly behind them. And they shut out the world. Once more, they're confronted with seeing Leo on the ground. You didn't have to kill him. I did. No, you didn't. He's the reason we're in this mess. If he didn't betray us, you wouldn't know. If he didn't betray us, you and your little group wouldn't have known. Why were you working with them? With the Illithids? I'm going to make this a persuasion check. Oh no, we can do an illithid turn. That's fine. They both have a 2 for charisma. So here comes the cult leader, Freric. Here comes Freric's roll. For a 9. Here comes the roll by Crop. Crop wins. What the hell were you doing with those illithids? I didn't seek them out. What, they sought you? I sought out the Queen of the Shadowfell. You stupid motherfucker. Brokered a deal with her. Thought that maybe she could help. That maybe by working with her, we could finally get what we need. To do what? You really think that the Shadowfell can help you? Not me. Us. Alfred, when I joined the Guard, it was to protect the people. The ones that are now burning down in this city. That isn't our doing. Were they warned about the Githyanki? No, but he overheard the concerns. I was always warned. Or not always warned. I overheard the illithids talking about keeping a low profile. They ran from a colony. Destroyed by something. I think that the dragon. We were told that if we helped them rebuild, we'd be able to use their might. We put way too much in it. And now, the illithids have turned against us. Is this when Samantha and the other one shows up, and her Gith's her eye? The dice didn't want to roll. Here it is. Lean it towards likely for the fun of it. No. No. And they don't hear that at all. But she's not here. Where else are we going to look? I don't know, Crop says. She ran out that door and to the right. Then we better start looking for her. After you. Yeah, totally jump into the illithid now. Gotta workshop this for just a moment. When the scene originally played out, they ran in diagonals, but we had the illithid go right. To the right is not only the docks, but the edge of the city which leads to farmland. I think the most obvious option is that the illithid would try to get back to the Shadowfell. Like, I don't see him sticking around if he's that afraid to run and leave the amulet behind. When you say, meet up with Ymir, from this point I had already imagined that he was in the Shadowfell. However, that makes me think of something else, actually. What if he did go to meet Ymir? Remember that we had previously established that the portals are naturally occurring, right? We had said that. We didn't establish how it was used or in what way, but it makes me think, what if one person has to stay at a portal once it's made? They have to stay with it to keep it open. Or else there would be no way to snap back into the Shadowfell. So what if Ymir is the one waiting for him? We haven't seen him yet. We know that the illithid showed up and came in there with, what's his name? Freric. So if he's waiting at the portal, he would have seen the dragon. Before we go forward, I want to establish, does Amir know what the Githyanki are? Seeing as he was being groomed for higher work, I think it's likely that he would have been told by Freric. Because if they're plotting to have some sort of vengeance against them or a contingency plan, there's no way they didn't talk about the fact that the Githyanki may be a thing. So we'll roll that towards likely, and here comes the roll. So the Illithid was summoned with a dagger. That you're right. But Freric would have had to have come here. So at the most, Freric would come through, which, with your point, would the Illithid know where the portal is? Maybe he needs to locate it. He would have to track it, because you're right, he was summoned here with a dagger. So he wouldn't have walked through it. He would need to know to go back. So maybe Amir is waiting for Freric by himself. Can the Illithids track the portal? I think that's likely. Because they're probably the ones that gave the ability to do the portal. So we'll ask that. No. The Illithids cannot track the portal. So this guy would be running blind, which puts him in greater danger. We established that the Yankee and the Zerai can track the fuck is it called? The amulet. Do we want to give them, or ask, I should say, do we want to ask, can they track the use of the psionic from the Illithid? Can he track Amir? That's a good question, too. Let's roll that one first. Can the Illithid track Amir? So I was going to say neutral, but Amir's probably wearing his amulet. And if he's wearing it, then I think the Illithid, with these things supposedly being super smart, right? So I'm not even going to say I think the Illithid. The Illithid would think that he would reach out and see if he can track the amulet on Amir. Because maybe the Illithid's now starting to think, like, if we could never plainly read clear thoughts when we were trying to, maybe he's going to look for the amulet. And I think that's the best bet. But also in doing that, that might get the attention of the Githzerai, or the Githyanki. Probably the Zerai as well. So, let's roll towards likely. Can he track Amir through the amulet? Here comes the roll. No. But he can't track him through the amulet. But if he wasn't wearing it, he can... No, because we said that it makes it so that the mind seems blank, so it's not going to find a negative zone. You can't track Amir through the amulet, but he can sense his general presence. Okay, so it gives him a vague notion of a direction, kind of like when you hear the spirit phasing in Dead by Daylight. You just know an area, you just don't know where. I want to roll. Is the Illithid going to be tracked as he does his own tracking? Likely. No, neutral, because the higher ups don't know that there are Illithids yet. So let's try that. Neutral, is he being tracked immediately right now? No. And until the higher ups are told, he is not going to be tracked at all. So he has a chance to do something. Moving right, the Illithid has seen the dragon up above, seen it soaring and devastating the western side of the city. Joenakisa burns bright against the darkened sky. The Illithid does not want to stay. Does he run into anybody on his way out of the town? Probably likely. So here comes the roll. Yes, but they part out of the way. They flee, shift, break like an ocean, so that he can move through. The presence guides him forward. Can sense it, can hear it. It's almost like a low, distant hum mixed with an echoing bell, each one a breath. And when the wave hits him, it makes his brain pulsate. The tentacles fill throughout the air as he moves closer towards it. I will give this an intelligence check. He has a +4 to it. He can't sense its direct location, so I'm going to say it's a 17. Is he able to follow through with it? Is he able to locate this following the trail of the city based off what he knows? 17. No. The magic is disdain. Closed. Pointless almost. He can't pinpoint it. As he moves further along through another outcropping of buildings, he's approaching the edges of the town, the crops in the front of him. He glances back, glances ahead. Can't track M.U.N.E, so he figures that little motherfucker must be wearing an amulet. The distant haze of the fire is starting to grow dimmer, and the illithid can breathe better. The air is not as heated, not as moist, and it allows him to get that deeper connection to his psionic power, because he's getting more wet now, as the ooze that flows along his body is no longer stifled by the heat of the fire. Now, as he exits the town, can he track M.U.N.E? I think it's likely now that he's away from the fire and his body's moistening. No. He still can't track M.U.N.E, but he's definitely gotten closer. Is there another illithid waiting at... Do the illithids have to hold the portals, actually? Let's ask that. Yes. So if an illithid has to hold the portal, why would M.U.N.E be there as well? Does the portal function off a person? If he can't track M.U.N.E, and the illithid wasn't established until now, maybe the reason M.U.N.E is there with an illithid is the illithid has to use a living person as a conduit to open up the Shadowfell. And I think that's likely. And that sounds fucked up, but let's roll it. 4. Yes, that's what is happening. Wait, I see. Okay, what is the wait? Yes. So the way I looked at it, is like when I envisioned it, think of it like in the most like cliche and portable way I can think of it like a naturally occurring oil well. Like there are oil wells naturally, maybe these ones, I've always imagined them to kind of pop up at times, like you can sense them if you're trained to it. But in order to do it, like in order to draw oil from the ground, you have to use a pickaxe to break it open. So the way I was thinking it is that like if the portal is natural, like, okay, it's naturally here, but in order to activate it, you need to have that presence of life within the area and then use the ritual to focus the natural energy through your conduit. That would explain why mind flayers are needed to focus it, and then if a human's there with them, the humans are the one they're using to do that. Maybe the illithid is on the other end. 2 ways, one to send, and then you have to hold from the back while the life force holds. I like that. Yeah, we can do that. So it makes the gap. He holds it on one side, while M.U.N.E is held in this one, focusing it to happen. Recontextualizing that. He can't trace M.U.N.E. Can he trace another illithid magic? And I think that one is likely, so we'll go with that. Yes. Yes, he could. And my justification for that will be that when you get closer to it, From a distance, you can only track the person doing it on our side, right? But as you get closer to it, he starts to taste the other illithid's magic. Think of it like a cone of a degree. Like it only goes this far for the illithid's magic, but a much further is where a mirror would be. So with that, that's also going to lead to a way that they can track it, which is really interesting to put it that way. They being the Zerai and the Yankees. Damn, Yankees. He moves out into the field, able to trace a portion of his brother. Where Amir stands in the field, his eyes blank, his body is shivering, quaking as he hangs off the ground. Perhaps he's drooling a bit of we'll say, a bit of purple, like the illithid slime coming out of his mouth. And as he hangs there, shaking, the illithid approaches, holds out his left hand. The tentacles reach around it, choking, adding more of that moist ooze, until he activates the portal. The portal spits him out, brings Amir with him, and Amir drops to his knees. I hate it when you do that. You return. I bring grim news. Of what nature? The Githyanki and the Girith-Sarai have traced us here. What did you say? We have been followed. Where is Ulkir? Distracted. Busy. We have an issue as well, beyond just the Githyanki. Beyond? How so? He looks towards the hounds. And then, with a snap, they all turn in and glance on Amir. What the hell? Where is the fourth one? Well, Clear has it. What are you doing? Amir backs up as the hounds close in on him. What are you doing? You have an amulet on you. An amulet? What do you... And one of the tentacles unfurls. It holds the amulet at the end. Can Amir save face from this? This is going to be a charisma of 1. Here it comes. 7. Probably not. Mind Flayer, charisma of 3. 20. It knows he's lying. And it draws closer. The other two watching. He can practically feel the Shuck's breath on him as they close in. The dogs' mouths are quivering. They're dropping the black ichor they've been known for. I've done no such thing. Oh, but you have. I know that you have. When he reaches out and grabs Amir's Colt robe, it pulls him to him, and a tentacle slides down the vest, bringing up Amir's amulet. This is what brought the Githyanki to us. The other two standing there back away. We do not have a week to wait. The mind worm that they have, is it going, or clarify, and I can't remember the exact word. I can know the approximation of it. Jesus Christ. Is that one gonna grow up into an Ulthard? Here comes the roll. Yes. We don't have time to wait. We don't have 7 days. They will be here before then. The larva will not grow. The elder brain will be in danger. We should not make any more trips to the surface, to the other world. What if this one? Does he just kill Amir? I don't think he will, actually. One, they probably want to get information from the elder brain, which it's listening to them for sure. Like, there's no way it's not fucking listening to them. And two, they may need him to open up another portal to get out. So no, they're not going to kill him. In fact, the elder brain is going to communicate as he says that. What do we do with Amir? Kill him. And then the voice booms within his mind. All of their minds, including the Shucks. You will not be striking him down. This one lives. He may still be useful. The Shucks back away. What do we... Did we establish if the Illithid can use the amulet? We know it counters them. But what happens if they put it on? I think, based on the way the story has gone so far, I don't think they can. Because I feel like he... Well, no. No. Because he didn't feel threatened by them. He didn't feel threatened by the, any of them when they had the amulet. And we didn't have him put it on when he ran from the Githyanki. I don't think they can use it. Why don't we roll that, actually? Because maybe he doesn't know that. Maybe the Elder Brain knows that. Do you want to roll that neutral, Megbu? You roll it neutral. Okay. Can they wear it? No. And if they wear it, we can't say that it destroys the amulet or else they would wear it. If they wear the amulet, maybe it sends out the beacon immediately. Like, these things are made by the Githzerai and the Githyanki. They wouldn't want it to be destroyed if the fucking Illithids put them on. However, if they put it on, it acts as a beacon. They're hunting them down. Of course they're going to go after them. They would probably feel disgusted that an Illithid puts on the their own fucking magical gear. So no, they don't. And it's painful for them. Yeah, hell yeah, we can say that. It disables them so that they can find him as well. However, it doesn't hurt them to touch it because he's been carrying it this whole time, and it hasn't tipped him off. So we know that if it's touched by a mortal, it starts powering, but an Illithid would have to wear it for them to use it then. Because it gains no power from them just touching it. You will not kill him. He still has use for us. And then he, Emir, no longer hears it. The rest of the Illithids do. And if they fail us, if they stop being useful, there will always be more larvae. Yes, Elder. May I ask you where Lukir went? Is Lukir talking with the Raven Queen? Neutral roll. Yes. Lukir has taken one of the hounds. He moves with Zorander. The two meet with the Queen to discuss what happens. We are in greater danger with the others here. We will need more to serve us. In the meantime, defense to build. How do we go about that? Is he going to suggest getting more of the Shuck race? No. Is he going to suggest something worse from the Shadowfell? Likely. Yes, and there's the intervention. Should we get more of the shock race? No. The shadow fell. Knows deeper demons. And so will we. So will they. Let's check on that intervention. Here comes the roll. 2. Entity positive. Something good happens. Who do we... Well, we gave the bad thing to the bad guys. Let's give the good thing to the good guys. Show them a little love since we never do that. So my initial thought to that was, oh, it's written in lore that fucking the Zerai and the Yankee would work together, but I think it would be more fun to have like a 3-way fight going on with Samantha and her team in the middle. It kind of gives me that Alien versus Predator vibe, and I'm here for that, right? But someone finds that dagger. Damn. Okay, entity positive, someone finds that dagger. Okay. The most obvious choice is that Samantha and the 2 monks are going to be arriving there. If Samantha gets it, it gives her an ace in the hole, but she would probably hand it over, like, realistically. She's not thinking like us that they're going to be caught in a fight. She's probably thinking that they're allies right now. And if... Oh, but if the monks get it, and they take it to the enlightened, they have an illithid to drag through, talk, and probably interrogate. We're going to say that the others get it. The monks are the ones to find it, and Samantha will point it out. But with these people knowing and making their plan, you're right, they would need the summoning word from Freric. Okay, so that balances that out. We'll at least give them the dagger. That'll be the positive. But Freric's on their side right now, technically. Because he's in a flimsy alliance with Crop and, by extension, Samantha, even though he's down to betray them. He may tell them, but that's a problem for when we get to that area. It's in here. And the 2 monks step forward. They definitely spot the blood. Almost hone in on it. It was bleeding. The 2-tone monk asks. Yeah. I did that. I told you I faced it and got away. You did not say that you struck it. Didn't feel important at the time. It is heavily important. Does that earn the respect of either of them? Yes. Yes, it does. Perhaps you are a greater asset than I first imagined. Asset? You're starting to sound like my brother. It was this, Samantha says. She walks over to a corner of the bed and picks up a dagger. They used this to summon him. To summon what? And then as Samantha looks towards the gith in front of her, she spots Leo's body. Son of a bitch. He gutted him. Tore him apart. Ooh. The man right there, obviously. Do not step forward without giving me the dagger. Here, Samantha hands it to him. So, I would imagine that, yes, Samantha heard it, but would she remember it? Because a lot happened there, and then there was the pain of it. Would she remember it? We can make that a roll. Which, we'll make that a intelligence roll. Voice is going. It's lasted longer than usual. We'll make that an intelligence roll. She has a -1. Considering that she got distracted by the illithid, her arm fucked up, the dragon, and then meeting these guys. I want to say it's a 17. We'll make it a 16. -1, make it a 16. Does she remember the words? No. I'm assuming they know how summoning works. I'm going to leave it towards likely. Second or first 6. Yes, they know. What is a summoning word? The Toontown mage says. But Samantha's looking at the body. Our protection doesn't mean shit. What is the summoning word? I don't remember. Why not? Because I stabbed the motherfucker. Ran. Given the state that you found me in, just cut me some fucking slack, okay? They don't train like we do. Remember that. She's only human. Yeah, I'm only human. I'll have you know that as an arbiter, I'm an elite human. An elite human is just a human. Not all of us can be from the Gith master race, right? We are not masters we are only masters of chaos and ourself. Sure. Does anyone else remember it? The captain or Bree? Should we leave that to dice, as in their statistics, or should we ask that as a question? You have no idea. Neither do I. Actually, I do have an idea. Leaving it to the dice roll would be easier, right? Because if we leave it to the dice roll, odd or not odd or even, but like there's a more likely chance of it working there than rolling statistics when they probably, I would make it like 14 or 15, and they probably only have like intelligence of like 1 or 2 points. She was paralyzed. So she would definitely have it higher. Okay, what we'll do. And then he got his fucking arm cut off, so they probably don't remember. The reason I think I just saw that you say Bree has a better chance. I could see the argument for that. Because she's probably listening in the most she can. I was going to say leaning it towards a negative, because if she's paralyzed, I'm also thinking like she's scared out of her mind. But if she's scared out of her mind, she's probably listening, right? She would listen to hear if it's getting close. So we'll roll that a likely for Brianna, but a negative for the captain, who literally lost an arm. So here's the likely for Brianna. That's a 6. She remembers the word. Perhaps it's seared into her brain, because that's what brought it, right? And then here's the unlikely for the captain. 1. No, he doesn't remember it. So currently Brianna is the only person that knows it, which means, well, not Brianna. Freric obviously knows it. But that also means that if Brianna is with the Gith Yankee, there's a very good chance they're going to get that word. And that's going to be dangerous for them. Because if they find out the dagger, like, that gives more of a reason, like, for the two to go at it. That also places greater emphasis on getting Brianna away. That's going to be a good fight. Like, it's going to work out to be a dangerous fight. The man we're looking for isn't here. And if Crop's not here, he's probably out too. Within the burning city, there's too much that can happen to them. The dragon was here. It's very likely that they knew as well. They're tracking the amulets. Maybe they have your friend. 2 of them are missing. 3, I guess. I don't think they would know. Well, Freric would. Who is this Freric? He's the one that was working with them. The dagger you have, he used to summon them. And he is the one we need. I don't know where he went. This is the only cult hideout I knew of. Besides the Shadowville. We need to find a way to get there. We will make camp then. Camp. A day as orders. The enlightened will be able to give us a better pathway. Dak is right. We make haste. Will the enlightened have a change of clothes? No. Come on. And Samantha follows. Several hundred feet above the earth. In a dungeon composed of metal she's never seen before. Something that seems like wood. A single lantern dangles by a chain over her head. Brianna's arms are tied behind her back, and her head hangs. She hears something outside. It's distant at first, but as it comes closer, it's unmistakable. A heavy, pounding beat. It stomps, ever closer, until it's right outside the door. She feels her breath quicken, her heart stumble in itself. She wants to vomit again. And then the door opens. It's not the Golden Knight that brought her here. Not the dragon she immediately imagined, even though that's not physically possible. No. A behemoth. A still behemoth stands in front of her. Towers above her. It's one of them, she can tell. But there's something about him that feels different. The weight in his steps. The grim stare in his eyes. Death incarnate. That's funny, she thought. Not death wore a robe. Not massive metal armor. We end there for tonight. Tomorrow we explore this a bit further. Hone in on the war that's definitely about to happen, and the two forces that will come together. It's going to be interesting to see how the Shadow Queen, the Raven Queen, sorry, how the Raven Queen fits into this. I'll see you hopefully tomorrow, man. And anybody else that was either here or not, have a good night. And I'll see you then. Until that time, I'll be in other worlds. I didn't have the transition right.